welcome back. My name is Calvin, Statue Fanatic, and I'm here with another review. This time I'll be reviewing Illidan Stormrage from Blizzard. Alright, couple of disclaimers. You see, I got the World of Warcraft shirt on, I get all of that, but I don't really know much about World of Warcraft. I've never played the game. I have a lot of friends that play this game and they absolutely love it. But I don't play it. So this statue is kind of an anomaly for me in terms of collecting it. I saw this statue in one of Red Titan's episodes where they kind of made a quick blurb about it. But what impressed me about it was it looked like it would fit a genre of things that I collect, and it looked really, really awesome. So when I saw the blurb, I went to Blizzard's website and I saw the statue and I was like, wow, this looks really impressive. And then when I saw that the price was only $350 compared to many of the other statues that are coming out from various other studios, I thought, hey, wow, this might be a really cool statue to own, and it would fit really well with the statues that I collect, like Lord of the Darkness from the movie Legend, and Vampirella, Lady Death, Evil Ernie. All of those things I absolutely love, and even Spawn. So I ordered the statue. I was a little bit nervous when I ordered the statue because I'd seen a few reviews online and it looked like a lot of people were getting this statue and it was damaged. And so that kind of made me a little bit nervous too. I didn't want to get a broken statue. But when I got it, it was completely intact. There was nothing broken. The box was intact. So I was very happy about that. So getting started with the statue. One of the most impressive things about this statue is probably its wingspan, I think. And its wings in general and the detail in the wings. The wings are actually translucent. You can see light through it, and depending on how you displayed the statue, it could have a really cool effect in your collection. So with the wings, I'm going to turn it around here, and I'll do some close-ups so you can see that as well. The wings themselves has really, really nice detail and texture to them. It gives the impression that it's like flesh. And as I look through the statue here, because the light's shining on me, I can see the light through it, and I can even see the bones through the flesh. It's pretty cool looking at it that way. And all the striations in the statue, the very tips of the wings, they have these claws on them that are pretty cool. Look like it would rip somebody to shreds. The joints, there's multiple joints and bones that go through the wings that support the wings. Lots of detail in that as well. And even the main bone that supports the wing, kind of like a bat, because it looks just like a bat wings almost. These also look really nice, lots of detail in that. And I'll talk more about why I think the detail in those are really cool. But before I get to that, going from the wings to the head sculpt, I absolutely love it. And the reason for that is, another hobby that I have is photography. And one of the things that I learned in photography was how important framing is. And so if you look at how he's posed, his head is down, so you kind of don't see much of his face if you're not looking for it. But what I love about the sculpt of this statue is that the hair perfectly frames the face. So what happens is when you're looking at the statue, it actually draws you in, and it kind of makes you fixate on his face a little bit so you can pay attention to the detail. And the hair itself, including the ponytail, has some really cool detail in terms of the strands of hair and how it flows. It's really nice. And they've even added, they could have just stopped there, but just to make it flow even more around his ears, they even painted hair that kind of goes down and drapes down his face. It's a really nice touch. Moving on to the body itself, like I said, I was going to talk more about that. What's really cool about this for me, it reminds me of the Venom Comiquette, his body, the way that it's sculpted. Some of the things that I loved about the Venom Comiquette, the way his skin, the striations in his skin, the way the veins were sculpted on the Venom Comiquette, a lot of that actually is present on this statue as well. I was really impressed. Even veins going through here, through his wings, veins that are in his arms and his biceps, and just his skin in general, the way it's sculpted, it looks really well. I was quite impressed by this. And I'll turn it around here, and on the back, again, lots of veins and details in the statue, the way it's sculpted. Again, reminds me a lot of the Venom Comiquette, and I really thought that was a very, very impressive piece. And then looking at his arms, There are these bony structures or spikes coming out of his arms, really finely detailed. The paint job on them is really nice. There's very few instances that I can see where the paint isn't spot on. And of course, there's so much of these spikes going on that you may be able to find one or two places where there's a little bit of spillover of the paint spilled over, but it's very hard to see and you've got to look for it. It's not going to pop out at you. And moving down to his arms, these bandages are pretty cool as well because you can see each bandage, and I don't know how they did that, but kind of like if you follow the bandage around, it's almost like it's one continuous bandage that's wrapped and wrapped and wrapped and wrapped. And this guy's obviously either getting ready to go kick some butt or he's already been in a fight. But what's really cool about the details in the bandages also are that it looks like they started to come loose and you can see where the detail was sculpted, where they've been tied back together. I like that. That's the attention to detail. That's awesome. And I looked at some artwork of this guy, the character himself, online, and looked at some game footage and things like that because I just kind of wanted to know how true was the sculpt to what was portrayed in art about this character. And it's pretty spot on bringing this guy to life in three dimension. This was really good job, I think. I'm happy with it. I'd love to have this in my collection now. It's pretty cool. And even the loincloth, the detail on it, looks like almost like an onyx of some type of stone. And again, it may mean something, and so I don't want to missay something about the lore of this character, but I just know it looks cool, whatever it means, if it means anything. The same thing on the back, the paint job on here, the detail that's on the loincloth, the edges of it, because it gives the appearance that it's some type of fabric that's fraying on the edges of it. Have another one of those stones here at the bottom. The gold tones, the paint, everything really looks well on it. Of course, there are a few minor details on there that if you look really, really close, you'll see, but nothing, absolutely nothing that would make me say I wouldn't want this statue. It's really a nice piece of work of art. Moving down his leg, some other details, and these are the things that really make me love statue collecting and the art of this, is when the team pays this much attention to detail, like the rips in his pants, and then underneath his pants where you can see his legs and the flesh or his skin tone underneath the pants. I love it. It's great. Going down like his hoofs, the bandages, I think the same thing about the bandages on his feet or his hoof, the same thing that I thought about the ones that are on his hands. Fantastic. The only thing that I've heard people say on the internet about this statue that they wish were different or isn't true to the character itself, and I agree with them because I've seen pictures of it. And the pictures show where the tattoos on his body are glowing. They are radiating this necroplasm of energy of some kind. And it's really bright in a lot of the pictures, just like the shirt that I'm wearing. It's that type of color. And some people have said that they might get it repainted so that it reflects that. For me, not being not knowing much about the character or the folklore of it, I actually like the way that it's painted because in my mind, when I saw the artist renditions of this character in print, I think it would be hard to be able to produce that type of radiance or give the illusion that something's radiating out of these tattoos in a paint job. Not only that, but I also think in the three-dimensional view of this, I think if it had that bright green glow to it, it might take away from the statue. It might take away from the detail that I talked about on his body. But I don't know the character the way that people who love World of Warcraft does. So I'll just concede to what they say. But that's just my opinion. I like it. And maybe the other way, I hope someone gets it painted so we can kind of see how that looks if they actually got that done. And it may be right. It may look great. But I like the way it is now. If I were to have, let's say, any complaint about this statue, it would be the base, not the sculpt of the base. I think it's great. But the necroplasm of the stuff that's flowing down, what's happened is Blizzard has painted it in such a way to give it this shiny effect. And I think what the goal is of this is for it to touch the rocks and give sort of a wet effect to it to make the rocks look wet. I like that, but I just think it's overdone because, you know, it just kind of like flows outside of the rock there. But that would be the only thing that I would say that I would like to see or have seen differently, is that the shininess and the overpaint of that not be as much. Blizzard also included a couple of ways to configure this, and like I said, I have some notes here because I have to pronounce some things that I haven't pronounced before, and I didn't want to get them wrong and get people to start commenting that I said something wrong, and I still might say it wrong. But these are called warglaives, and I hope I said that right, but they gave you 2 of them so that you can outfit him with either 2 of these, 2 hands, 1 hand, 1 warglaive, whichever one you like. But let me take this back off for a second. Even the detail in here where the bandages are on here, and I looked at this and they seem to fit kind of like a puzzle. The bandages just continue around even on the warglaive itself, so that's pretty awesome. And then the hands themselves are sculpted pretty well too. Very sharp nails, and there's detail on the nails, details on the knuckles, with the straps that are on his hand. Really cool. I like the statue a lot, and I know I've said that probably far too many times about liking the statue, but I'm surprised that I like it as much because, like I said, I typically collect things that I'm familiar with. So when I collect things that I'm familiar with, if I'm talking about them, there's a passion behind that I wouldn't have about something that I'm not as familiar with. But I feel a lot of passion about this guy. It's a great work of art, I think. And I could not imagine anyone who is a fan of the game and collects statues not collecting this guy. As of this video, this guy was still up for sale. It said limited quantities left on their website. Again, my statue was $41.86 of 5,000. And what's interesting about that, though, is I haven't seen this before. The edition size is on the box, but not on the base. I would assume it would be easier for them to package it that way. They would just have to put a statue in a box and not worry about matching the base with the box. But I'm not sure why they did that. So for those who are collecting it because they really want to hold on to this and whatever, I think you definitely want to hold on to your box, because that would be the only way that you'd be able to share with someone else the actual edition size of the one that you have. Some things about displaying this guy, I found that, and you'll see the picture how I display him next to Legend of Darkness, is that displaying him above eye level is probably the ideal way, because you get to keep this imposing pose, but yet you get to admire the sculpt and the face itself, because having him at eye level or below, like in the bottom of your detolf, or the bottom, I don't know if he'll even fit in a detolf, but in the bottom of your bester or something, would not allow you to enjoy the actual sculpt of this guy. And displaying him high up also keeps in line with the theme of him ascending up some type of mountain, rock, hill, looking down, about to swoop and kick some booty. So I wouldn't want to be in his way, because he looked like he will just tear up some stuff. But it kind of makes me want to check out the game. But from what I see my friends get into with this game, I don't think I could go down that road, because I don't think you'd come back from it. I've got one friend that's been playing this from day one. Yeah, great statue. And thanks again for tuning in, guys. And please, if you like what I'm doing, you want me to keep doing it, let me know that. Like, subscribe, all those good things, you know. So, hey, peace out. Have a great new year. Take care, guys. Be blessed.